Welcome back, team, to the #1 military podcast in the world, Commando Performance Podcast. Thanks for watching and tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and like this video if you're on YouTube. And don't forget to jump over to our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and check out Commando Performance Podcast. And also, don't forget to buy our Work Hard t-shirts and help support this great channel. But yeah, before we get into this video, just want to say thank you for the support so far. We've hit 1,000 subscribers already on YouTube after just posting 4 podcasts. So we've released 4 podcasts. We've already grown 1,000 subscribers already. This is massive. A great start before the new year. I want to say thank you to you guys for supporting. And hopefully we can keep this growth going throughout the new year. We got some amazing things planned. We got a couple of Royal Marines, ex-Royal Marines planned for the new year. They're pretty busy at the moment with work. So we got that in the pipeline. This podcast, it's me, myself again. We haven't got a guest. But I am also looking at getting a reserve on here and speaking to a reservist all about the process of joining, going through training with a daily job, family, etc. for you guys, because we do get a lot of comments asking about reserve life, and it's pretty hard to answer because I've only been full-time. I haven't been a reservist, so it'd be great to get some context for you guys with regards to that. But yeah, let's get into this video. So as you can tell by the title, this one is all about running for the military. So not just for the Royal Marines, but the military in general. But it will be focused towards the Royal Marines as that's what we specialise in. That's what our background is, and that's what most of our followers are from or going to become. So that's what we're going to cover. So yeah, the biggest mistake lads make when it comes to running or training for the Royal Marines and to join the Royal Marines. So that's what we're going to cover this podcast. So yeah, people think you need to run loads of miles, 100 miles a week to become a Royal Marine. So just because of the tests they do, you got in the commando tests, you got the 30 miler, you got a 9-mile speed march, you got load carries, you got the 3 miler, which they no longer do no more. But again, it's pretty famous test of the Royal Marines is the 1.5 miles, followed by a 1.5 miles best effort. And again, like I said, the famous 30 miler you do right at the end of recruit training. So yeah, because of these tests and a lot of these running tests, lads, they always ask us questions about running, how much running do they need to do, stuff like that when joining. And to be honest, it's not that much. You'll be surprised. You don't want to overdo it, especially with the impact on the body that running has. You don't need to be smashing yourself, especially at the age of 16, 17, putting your joints, ligaments through that much stress, especially if you're going to go into recruit training, and literally the stress is going to be through the roof on the body, and that's how a lot of lads get injured and get sent back in recruit training. So they smash the training, a lot of panic fizz before joining, and it comes to recruit training, and then a couple of weeks in they get injured, stretch fractures start appearing, knees, so like runner's knee, hip problems, stuff like that. All these start flaring up through training, just because of the stress the body's been through already before starting recruit training and putting it through even more stress. So yeah, this podcast is basically just to help lads out to get a better understanding on how to train properly, train smart, to get the best benefits out. And again, you don't have to run to get fit or to get fitter. There's plenty more ways to increase your aerobic capacity or your endurance than just going out and running. Yes, running is one of the basic and fundamental ways of getting fit and improving endurance, but there's much better ways to do that without putting stress on the body. And again, a couple of them is swimming. Swimming is a massive one. The water takes the stress off the body because you're floating, so it's really low impact on the body. Again, you can do hypertrophy training, so you can go swim underwater, holding your breath, swim as many lengths as possible, or as far as you can, holding your breath, stuff like that. And again, it's going to increase your lung capacity. You can do kickboard, you can then just do arms only, all these different things in the pool to help improve your fitness. And there's no stress on, like I said, on the body, because the water just takes all that pressure off the joints and ligaments, because you're literally just floating in the oggin. Another one is cycling. Again, you can go on the bike and cycle for hours and improve your leg endurance, your muscular endurance, stuff like that, especially if you start cycling up hills. You've got a lot of hills around your mountains. Just get out on the bike and just cycle for a good couple of hours. If you want to go out and go on an easy cycle, you can, if it's like a rest day. So go out on just a nice easy cycle, just get the blood flowing around the body, perfect. But if you're training to improve, then you want to try and get that breathing up. Make sure you're breathing quite heavy, where you can hold a conversation, but you're breathing pretty heavy. If you use heart rate monitors, then again, you want to be between the 150, 170 beats per minute range when on these bike rides. So try and pick quiet roads where you're able to hit a pace and sustain it for long durations. And that will just help build your fitness. Again, like I said, because you're just using your legs only, you're building up your leg capacity, your muscular endurance in those legs, and again, that will carry over to your running. Just when it comes to cycling, just make sure you stretch out your hip flexors, your quads and hamstrings, etc., and glutes, because you will be sat in that saddle for a long duration. Like you could be got out for a 3-4 hour bike ride and you're in that seated position, so those hip flexors will get super tight. So make sure you stretch them out and make sure you stay like those hips stay nice and healthy in the long run. So again, make sure you stretch after bike rides. So swimming, biking, and then again you got mixed modal. So again, if you're in a gym, and it's in the winter, cold, it's raining or snowing, you got access to a gym. If it's a functional fitness gym or a CrossFit gym, you'll have ski ergs, you'll have assault bikes or Concept 2 bikes. Probably have a true runner, hopefully. If it's a decent gym, you got rowing machines. And again, it's just picking a time frame or distance on those machines and just flowing around. So you could do like 60 minutes, a minute on each station, and just rotate as many times as you can in 60 minutes. Or you could do a distance, so like you could do a 1k row, a 1k ski, and a 2k bike, and again just rotate through that and just do that as many times as you can in 60 minutes or 90 minutes, completely up to you on the time frame. And again, you can also work off your heart rate. So if you've got a heart rate monitor, try and aim between that 150, 170 beats per minute on your heart rate monitor. And again, that will just build that aerobic fitness and aerobic capacity in there. So yeah, that's if you've got access to a gym. If it's just a normal commercial gym, you may just have a treadmill, a rowing machine, maybe a stepper. I wouldn't go to cross trainers or anything like that. Try and keep it as functional as possible. So like a watt bike or spin bike, a rowing machine, and a treadmill. I'd probably use those three ones. And again, pick a time frame or a distance and just move for, again, 60 to 90 minutes. You could start, if you're fresh, you could start a little bit lower, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and just increase the time over a period of time. So there's just a couple of different ways you can increase your fitness or your aerobic capacity without running. So you've got swimming, which is number one. I highly recommend swimming, especially if you're joining the Royal Marines. It's also a great way to get your swimming up to standard and good to go. You've then got cycling, again, which is my number two. Helps improve your leg endurance, your muscular endurance in the legs, especially if you start doing cycling up hills, stuff like that. And then mixed modal, so picking 3 or 4 machines in a gym and just working through them for a certain time domain. Cool. So we've covered them, different ways on how to improve your fitness or aerobic capacity without smashing the body on the pavement outside. So let's get into running. So yeah, like I said, the biggest mistake lads make is running miles and miles every week. So I have lads message me saying they've ran like 30 miles this week, 60 miles this week, and stuff like that. Do they need to be running 30 miles before they start recruit training? And the answer is no. It's the biggest one mistake lads make, like I said at the start, and it leads to probably the biggest injuries and the most common injuries for lads dropping out of recruit training. So we need to start training smarter. The information ain't out there on the internet, and that's what we're trying to do here, is provide the knowledge and information for the young lads that don't have the knowledge to basically improve their training and stay injury free. So that's what we're trying to do here at Commando Performance. So yeah, running. I tell lads, and if you follow my marine training plan, we run 3 times a week. Especially at the start, we're trying to build a foundation which we can later then rely on and start building off that foundation. So yeah, you can't basically build a house, you can't put a roof up on a house if you haven't got the foundations or the wall to support that roof. So pretty much that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to build that foundation, that solid floor, and then we'll build the walls, and then we finish off the roof, and basically you guys are tip-top shape and performance to enter recruit training. So yeah, 3 times a week, and what we're trying to aim to do here for these 3 sessions is hit the energy systems which the human body has, and the best way to explain these to just the public is you got short, medium and long. So short distance, you could look at a 100 meter sprint. So 100 meters, you're looking at between like less than 12 seconds. So it's an all-out sprint, 10 to 15 seconds. 100 meters, that's short duration. We then got the medium ground, so we're looking at 800 meters to 1,000 meters. We could also add maybe the 400 meters. So we'll say 400 to 1,000 meters is the medium ground. So we'll do some moderate distance interval work, and then we'll do long is half marathon, stuff like that. So running for a long duration of time is long distance. So they're the 3 energy systems we try and focus on and improve. So you're getting the best of all the fitness modalities and stuff in the world. So when it comes to short, sharp intervals, instead of just doing like 10-meter sprints or 100-meter sprints on a track, we do hill sprints. So again, we're getting the best bang for our buck. So hills, again, puts a lot more stress on the body. You got to work harder to basically complete that workload. So we'll do a lot of hill sprints or interval work on hills for our short domain sessions. Our medium ones, we will then do intervals or threshold training, stuff like that, and we'll try and work off a certain pace. So we may just start just doing intervals, so like 200 meter intervals with a minute rest between, something like that, just to build a baseline and give you guys an idea. We'll then test our 1 mile at the end of a cycle. So we'll do like a 6 to 8 week training cycle. We'll then test our 1 mile time. And then once we've got a 1 mile time, we can then build off that. So we can start doing threshold training using our 1 mile time. So if you can hold, say, a 7-minute mile, we will then do threshold training based off of that over the time for the next cycle and stuff like that. And we'll just increase over time. And a long distance one, we try and use heart rate monitors on this one. And again, we're just trying to run, keeping our heart rate nice and low over a duration of time. So I'm trying to think how I do this. So I kind of start with 30 minutes. So again, nice and simple 30-minute running, keeping your heart rate below 150 beats per minute. And basically it just increases your aerobic capacity without the strain of running as fast as you can for as long as you can, pretty much. So a lot of people will just run. So say if they have a plan of running 8 miles, they'll try and run 8 miles as quick as possible, pretty much. And again, that will just slowly start turning into overtraining, putting a lot of strain and stress onto that body and the joints. This is a smarter way, and instead of having a distance in mind, it's basically you just have a time frame to just run. So in each week we will basically just keep increasing that, and eventually you'll be able to run close to your race pace with a much lower heart rate. That's the goal of this. So we'll start at 30 minutes running for or keeping your heart rate at 100 or below 150 beats per minute. Each week I will add 5 minutes over time, pretty much. And it basically means you'll be able to maintain your training without the minimum injuries and illnesses that come with overtraining. So like I said, instead of going out for an 8-mile run and trying to do it in 20 minutes, it's basically a lot better way of training, keeping our stress low, and you're not overtraining the body. So yeah, like I said, we'll start at 30 minutes, increase the time by 5 minutes, but again, still keeping your heart rate below 150 the whole time. And the goal is to increase your distance. So if we run, so I done this during the first lockdown. I done 5 weeks of running for 30 minutes, keeping my heart rate below 150. The first week, I think I just about managed 4K. So every time I run, my heart rate just spikes and just goes through the roof. So whenever I go for a run, my heart rate goes straight up to like 170 beats per minute, and it'll stay like that the whole time I'm running. So the goal for me was trying to keep my heart rate and my breathing under control while trying to run as quick as I could. But obviously at the start I couldn't do it because my heart rate and my breathing was all over the place. So it's just a great way to relax, get into a stride, find that stride and keep going. So yeah, week 1, I just about managed 4K maybe. And then by week 5, I was running 5K within just over 20 minutes. So I was getting just shy of 6K in 30 minutes, keeping my heart rate below 150. So I pretty much almost increased my running time and my distance by 2K. And all that changed was my heart rate and my breathing pretty much. So I ran the same time frame for 5 weeks. So I ran 30 minutes. Each time I kept my heart rate below 150, but it's just over the weeks my body adapted, got used to it, and pretty much just got more efficient at running. And I was able to add 2K, or pretty much up to 2K, onto my running. And then pretty much from there, then I just increased it to 35 minutes. Again, ran that for a couple of weeks. And then 40 minutes, ran that for a couple of weeks. I literally repeated that until I got up to 60 minutes. And I just ran 60 minutes and keep my heart rate below 150. So that's what I try and do with you guys. If lads don't have a heart rate monitor, I tend to try and run breathing through their nose only. So nasal breathing, we've brought that into our training method or methodology when it comes to running. So yeah, again, they'll go for a 30-minute run, but they gotta breathe through their nose only. Again, it slows you right down because a lot of people mouth breathe. The human body, or the humans over time, we've literally forgotten how to breathe properly. We're meant to breathe through our nose, and pretty much we've forgotten how to do that. So that's what we're trying to do, is reteach the body on how to breathe properly, cycle that air around the body, fill the body with fresh oxygen. It basically just improves your fitness and aerobic capacity, lung capacity, and all that over time. So those are just the different ones and how we train. So like I said, lads, you don't need to be running every day of the week, 30 miles a week or so on, before you join the Royal Marines. And especially when you start recruit training, the PTIs and recruit training is well structured. It's structured to a point on where it progresses over time. So yeah, the first 4 weeks of training, you might not even run, or if you do run, it might be a 2-mile run or 3-mile run as a troop, something like that, or it could just be camp circuits. And again, camp circuit, you could be doing like 2 or 3 camp circuits. And again, camp circuits is 800 meters max, probably just shy of a K. So again, that's the most you'll be running during recruit training. So yeah, don't overdo it, because when you join recruit training, you won't be running long distances straight away. So yeah, just go in with a decent fitness level. As long as you can run say 5 miles or 6 miles, you can pass all the fitness tests. So you can do the beep test, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, etc. As long as you can pass all them, run 5-6 miles before you start recruit training, you should be good to go. You don't need to be entering recruit training, running 20 miles 4 times a week. It's just pointless, because when you start recruit training, you will just lose all that fitness, and then you'll just have to rebuild with the rest of the lads pretty much. So yeah, you could enter running 20 miles in the first month of training. The most you'll run is 3 miles in a month. So like I said, recruit training is well structured. They know what they're doing. It's basically proven over the years with lads passing out constantly. So yeah, it's just down to you to stay injury free throughout recruit training. Again, the best way to do that, staying injury free, is by not overtraining, overdoing it, putting stress on the body before you start recruit training in general. So yeah, hopefully this helped you guys out when it comes to how to run, how to structure, and what not to do when it comes to training. Again, thanks for watching. Please hit that like button if you're on YouTube, or if you listen on Spotify or Apple. Again, thanks for watching, and make sure you're following our channel. We got some epic stuff coming in the new year, and I'll see you on the next episode.